This is a good time to mention some of the options we offer to our travelling guests for getting around. For exploring and day tours, there are some great half and full day group tours available by bus or minibus. Public transport and even taxis will not be the visitor's best option and can be unsafe on some routes. Some of our guests like to rent a car. Remember that the rule of the road is opposite to the US. Traffic drives on the left and the driver sits on the right-hand side of the vehicle. This can take a little getting used to, and city roads are typically busy. Navigating can be complicated by winding roads and mountainous terrain in some areas. If you plan to spend the day on the beach, car rental can sometimes be the most convenient option. Some city hotels also provide a shuttle service for guests. For our guests that prefer the flexibility of a privately hosted tour, our locally hosted private tours are highly recommended for lone travellers, honeymoon couples, families or groups of friends. Options include full-day tours and multi-day routes to explore the Cape's Garden Route and other regions. These regions will be covered in a separate presentation. The next few slides take us away from Cape Town to explore some of the highlights of the Cape Peninsula. A full day's tour of the peninsula is highly recommended. We'll follow the Atlantic shoreline to Cape Point, then we'll return to the city along the opposite side of the peninsula, along the shores of False Bay. For hiking enthusiasts, trails follow the line of the mountain ranges and shorelines, catering to all levels of fitness. The Atlantic shore is mostly extremely rugged, with wave-swept coves, cliffs, and numerous shipwrecks, a hint at why mariners called this the Cape of Storms. The ocean on this side of the peninsula is cold and very clear, popular for crayfish snorkeling and scuba diving. Along our route, the elite residential village of Llandudno offers a secluded sandy beach for residents and day visitors. There are no hotels or shops here, so visitors to the beach need to pack a picnic lunch. Chapman's Peak Drive is one of the most spectacular stretches of coastal road in South Africa and probably the world. It's been compared to Italy's Amalfi Drive, hewn out of the solid mountain rock. There are several view sites along the winding road as it climbs high up the side of Chapman's Peak and above the cliffs of Hout Bay. A 4-hour hiking trail leads even higher up the slopes of the mountain for stunning vistas across the bay. From June to November, whales can often be seen in the ocean below. Hout Bay is a fishing harbour and is a great place to stop for lunch, especially for seafood. The harbour is also a departure point for tour boats to nearby Seal Island. The small rocky island is packed with thousands of seals, cavorting around and below the boat. If you've heard the legend of the Flying Dutchman, this is ground zero for the sightings. Witnesses claim to have seen this legendary 17th century ghost ship in full sail, ploughing through the stormy seas in its eternal quest to round the Cape. Cape Point marks the southwestern tip of the African continent, with some of the most breathtaking ocean and coastal scenery in the world. This is where two oceans meet, the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean on the west and the warmer Indian Ocean waters on the east. The treacherous rocky reefs surrounding the point are home to 26 recorded shipwrecks and probably many more. Sea cliffs rise more than 800 feet above the waves, crashing against the rocks far below. Visitors can ride the Flying Dutchman funicular rail car for access to view sites high up on the point. Short trails lead to stunning views over the cliffs, with seabirds whirling and diving between their rocky nests and the sea. Whales, too, can often be seen between May and November on their annual migration around the point. Diaz Beach nestles in a cove below the cliffs. This is a wave-swept, pristine beach for hikers to explore. Sculptured sandstone pillars, sea caves, and white sands are sculpted and swept clean by wind and storms. Curio and merchandise shopping and the Two Oceans restaurant offer rest and refreshment before the return trip along the False Bay shore. There's also a great deal more to explore within the Cape Point Nature Reserve, a wide variety of stunning dive sites, picnic sites, and walks to tidal pools for the kids to explore. Hiking trails 1,100 indigenous plant species, as well as baboons, antelope, ostriches, and Cape zebra to spot. Homeward bound, after a long day of exploring the peninsula, I always recommend that visitors pause at Boulders Beach to view the large African penguin colony from the long wooden walkways. Everyone will enjoy the penguins and their antics, and there is safe bathing nearby, popular with families. The gently sloping bathing beach with its huge granite boulders is well worth a visit. Penguins from the nearby colony zip around like torpedoes in the water, almost close enough to touch. Kids love it. There are several other beaches to enjoy along the shores of False Bay. The water is comfortably warmer than the Atlantic side, and some beaches have tidal pools and these quaint, colourful beach huts. Groot Constantia, just south of the city, is a great place to see this beautiful example of original Cape Dutch architecture set in an old historic wine estate. The wines are superb, just perfect for that dinner party to share the wonderful memories and photos of your trip with friends back home. Accommodation options in Cape Town are of a very high international standard. We can suggest a range of alternatives to best suit your requirements and interests. B&B guest house, self-catering villa or luxury apartment, or a fully serviced luxury boutique hotel. Location is, of course, always extremely important too, with options on the V&A waterfront, within the city bowl, on the Peninsula, or in Kemps Bay. This 5-star Kemps Bay hotel is an ideal choice for convenient access to the beaches of Kemps Bay and Clifton. There's also a wide selection of luxury villas, some located right on the shore. Villas will in particular suit larger families and small private groups of friends and provide fully serviced self-catering convenience and flexibility. This is an example of a 3-bedroom villa right on the beach and just minutes away from Kemps Bay. Cape Town also offers world-class entertainment, clubs, eclectic dining venues and dinner shows. We're always glad to offer some suggestions to our travel guests.